So I got the new LS twin turbo project on the go here. 72 Plymouth Scamp. The car had a back half 4-link kit in it already, but it wasn't put in straight. So we took it all out. And then this is the front frame section that I'm putting in. It's from Checkered Racing. It's not exactly the way I like it. That's the ride height. You can see the control arms are going down, and that's with 2-inch drop spindles. So I want to get those control arms level at ride height, so I'm going to have to alter the lower control arm shock mount a little bit to get those level. Otherwise, it's a very nice square, Mustang 2 style kit with coilovers. This needs a little modification for this application. It may not need modifying for whatever application you're using it for, but in this case, we're gonna have to do a little bit of work to it. But you got the frame or the body notched out. This is where you had old frame connectors in these holes here. That's why they're so big there. I had to cut all that out, and then we channeled the body here to get the frame to sit up in there to get the ride height that we want. So now what I'm doing is I got this all hollowed out here, and I'm fitting the wheel tubs. So I got the cardboard. I had to put the tubs together. They came in 2 pieces. So here's one here. So a very nice slip fit from Chris Alston Chassis Works. They got a lip that fits in there, so it's very easy to tack weld it, and then it'll be very easy to finish it after it's all welded, and you get a nice round contour there on the wheel tub. It's not like a 90-degree straight angle, so it should look really good in the car. So yeah, that one's tacked. I got this one here tacked, and I made some cardboard out of the box it came in, and you can see all these bends in here. What I did is I just used my metal brake and I bent it every 1 inch to get it to contour to the wheel tub, and then I put it in the car and kind of just had it held there with tape and positioned it where I want it. And then I made this little tool here. It's just what you do is you just put this up against the quarter panel, and then you stick a felt marker through the one hole there, and you just go around and mark the contour of the quarter panel onto the cardboard. So now I got the cardboard outline where I want to trim that wheel tub so that it fits really nice snug on the quarter panel. So I got that all on there. Now I just got to take my plasma cutter and just trim it off, and then I'll take the grinder and fit it nice after that. So, and then once I get the wheel tubs in, or the distance between the wheel tubs, then I'll know where to mount the rear frame sections. These are for the 4-link rear frame. I didn't want to put these in until I knew exactly how wide I'm going to do the wheel tubs, because the frame rail will butt right up against the side of the wheel tub there. And so the wheel tub will actually fasten to the frame rail. So everything has to fit just right. The contour to the quarter panel, the distance from the quarter panel to the inner frame. And so everything and then the tub has to be level and squared, and the frame has to be leveled and squared and all that. But so we got also got the front cut out. The factory torsion bar stuff is all gone, and then the inner wheel well that had the mounts up here and everything for the control arms. Oh, it's all on the floor there, right there, because the bumper mounts to that. So I wanted to keep that for a reference for the height of the bumper holes that I'm going to have to drill in here. So, and then this is the engine that's going in there. It is what was it, a 408 cubic inch, I think. LS motor, all forged internals, Holley EFI, and it's got this 417 Motorsports intercooler on it with the manifolds, and turbos are in the boxes there. They're just small turbos. This is street application, pump gas, so not getting too crazy on it. But and then the transmission is here. I'm just going to put a power glide in it. So as soon as I get the tubs in and the rear frame rails in and the 4-link brackets welded to the frame rails, I get the distance of that. And the wheels and tires, the back wheels and tires are coming, so I'll get those in. And I'm going to get the tires in actually before I weld the frame rails in, just to get a ride height and make sure everything is where it's supposed to be, and then we can order the housing. The housing will come with the 4-link brackets already welded on it, so I need to know the distance, the width of the 4-link brackets on the rear frame rails before I can order the rear housing. And I need the wheels and tires here to get them in place so that I know the width of the housing. So this is yeah, this is a pretty cool project. It's going to be a very cool car when it's done, that's for sure. No rust. I mean, the body's in good shape, so we'll get the frame finished up, get the floor finished up, get the motor transmission mounted, get all the plumbing done for the turbos. You know, pretty basic rolling chassis with driveline, no wiring, none of that, because the car's got to come apart again to get painted, and then once it's painted, it goes back together, and then we can finish it with the interior wiring, etc., all that other stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty big project, but it's fun. I like doing stuff like this. It's quite a challenge. The kit actually came with just standard height spindles, and we discovered that those were not the right ride height that we wanted, and even the 2-inch drop spindles are still not tucked up in the wheel well far enough, so we'll have to do some modifying there. But so yeah, that's all I got. Oh, and I picked up a sled the other day. I got the 2-up seat already mounted on it for the wife. 08 Crossfire 800, one owner sled. The thing is really nice. I think it's got about 3,000 miles on it. This is my kind of machine because it's got the coilover shocks and it's got the torsion springs in the back, which gives it a really nice ride height, like smooth ride. I've had this type of a sled with the Snow Pro configuration where it comes with the float shocks and no torsion spring, and they just ride like a tank. It's just the ugliest riding machine ever, and I would never get another one that has the Fox floats on it. I guess the young kids like it because they can really pound on it, but the guy that I sold my my other sled to, the one with the floats on it, he just a young kid, and he decided to do a lot of jumping and stuff with it, and he had the shocks all cranked up, and he phones me one day and he says, "Can you weld the bulkhead on the sled?" He cracked the bulkhead, like the whole chassis basically, where the steering column mounts to the chassis, and then there's the heat exchanger right there too, and he busted it all off. And I go, man, I just sold this sled, and like 2-3 weeks later the guy wrecked it, so he brought it back with everything all taken off, whatever, and I had to weld it up for him, and then he took it out and he broke it again. Like, whatever, this is just such a nice machine. So, and I had to modify this 2-up seat here that I got. I had to extend it here and then bend them out because the bar, where she grabs on it was too far or too close together, so I had to bring those out. And then I put these rubber grips on here so that her hands wouldn't be right on the metal, and then I put these hand guards on here to keep the wind off of her hands. So because it doesn't have warmers on here, so I want to keep her hands warm. If my wife is comfortable, then we have a good time. So, but yeah, looking forward. We haven't got much snow yet, so as soon as we get some snow around here, then maybe we can go for a ride on the trails. Oh, and what else? Oh, I picked up a lathe. I got a new, well, not a new one. It's actually a very old one, a 1940s Sydney lathe. I got it just, I had to get it's 3-phase, so I had to convert it to single phase, so I had to get the converter for it. It's just kind of sitting there, but I got to mount it to the wall yet and wire it proper. But the lathe works, and it's going to be a pretty cool toy to play with. Should be able to make some interesting stuff with that. But yeah, that's all I got for now. The car came with a tote full of stuff: hood, trunk lid. I guess they had bought a roll bar for it. This is pretty much all I got is the main hoop, but I don't know if I'll use it. It's going to get a roll bar, but I'll probably end up doing everything myself. So yeah, that's it.